Napa. Whoa! What's happening to me? I would rather not know what's going on here. Ladies, gentlemen, and captains of all ages, one of the most in-depth systems in all of Starfield is the experience, leveling, and skills. Because there is no level cap within the game, there is technically no limit to how many skills you can have on a single character, and while some people are happy to just get all that stuff through multiple New Game Plus playthroughs, other people just want to level up as much as possible as quickly as they can so that they can have everything they want. After all, to unlock every single one of the 82 skills in the game at full maximum ranks, you would need to be somewhere around level 326, which, yeah, is absolutely nuts. But surprisingly, it's also pretty achievable, and that is still only if you want literally every skill ever. Instead, you can just farm up the ones you think would improve your journey dramatically, and part of the beauty of these farm methods is that you are in complete control of how much experience you get. While we label this as upwards of 70 or 80,000 potential experience per minute based on how much effort you put into the setup at first, you could easily choose to just grab 5-10,000 experience real quick, see if you like where you're at, maybe come back later for an extra 20 or 30,000 XP real quick, leave again until you just find the point that you're happy to play at. You are not locked in, is what I'm saying here. On top of that, this version of the Outpost farm can get you an absolute butt ton of credits extremely quick too, as well as filling you up on what are arguably the 3 most important resources in the entire game. So let's break it all down. The other day we did an experience farm video on the channel based around Outposts, as that is what the community has found to be the best way to generate experience in the game. But in the couple of days since then, I've been learning more and more and worked out how to really maximize the effectiveness of our Outpost farm in a way that not only gets experience faster than the previous one, but also generates more credits, more valuable resources for personal use too, and we've streamlined the entire process to make it incredibly, relatively simple. To start off then, before anything else, you need to stock up on some basic materials so that we can actually get this outpost off the ground. This will cost you a few thousand credits, nothing too difficult to start off with by any means, and the beauty of this is that it is a one-time investment. The entire process itself becomes self-sufficient after the fact. The shop that I most recommend for this is Jameson Mercantile in New Atlantis. You get here super early in the story, and from the ship's landing pad in the city, you simply have to run straight and left until you reach the larger, more open area full of shops and businesses, and then you'll see Jameson Mercantile in front of you. Talk to the person behind the counter in the shop, and this is your shopping list for today. Making a point to get as many of each of these as the vendor will sell you. Adaptive frames, aluminum, beryllium, copper, iron, lead, lubricant, sealant, tungsten, and zero wire. As well, you will need 2 or 3 of the fabric material, but you should have that much just from existing in the universe for the start of the game. If you have lots of credits and want to make this faster, simply find a chair nearby to wait on for 24 hours. Then you can go back and rebuy all those same materials again. You want to do 3 or 4 rounds of this ideally. Then before you leave New Atlantis, you want to talk to the ship services guy on the landing pad. Ask him about modifying your ship and enter the shipbuilder. And here you want to find the HAB section, and then by scrolling through variants of the presented options, you want to find the one labeled as a workshop. This has workstations in it that will help us out significantly. Attach it to any part of your ship that you can actually access, though ideally it will be directly attached to the crew quarters so it is beside a bed. With that covered, we are going to head to a very specific moon. Technically speaking, any planet or moon that has both aluminum and iron as resources will be able to do this, but the ideal combo is one with those resources in specific places that overlap so you can farm both from one outpost and on a planet with at least reasonably long time dilation, which is why we are going to the Linnaeus system, and specifically the moon Linnaeus IV-B. Scan the moon, find your point of overlapping iron and aluminum, and then land on that spot. Open up your scanner once you're on the ground to see the surrounding resources. This part may take a bit, but you need to just walk around until you find a spot to place an outpost that has both aluminum and iron within it. The more of each, the merrier, of course. I chose a spot with a small bit of both for the sake of this demonstration, but you can get much larger patches of them if you spend a good bit of time looking around for the right spot. Once that's been done, put down your outpost. Enter the build menu and look at extractors. You want iron extractors in your iron zone and aluminum extractors in your aluminum zone. For your starting setup, 4 of each or so will do, but long term you want as many of these as you can physically fit in each zone. After that, you want to work out power. On a planet with strong atmosphere, you want wind turbines, otherwise you want solar arrays. This planet is better with solar arrays, so we start piling those down, as many as it takes to make the power needed number in the corner not be red anymore. Once you have done that, you want to set up storage boxes to hold these materials. 5 or so of them in a line is perfect, and you want to do this twice, once for each material type so they don't get mixed weirdly. Then you want want to enter modify mode, and from here, if you right click on an object and then onto another one, you will create an output link. This can be a bit daunting at first, but it's quite simple if you take it slow and work it out. Connect all of your iron extractors to one storage box at one side of your line of 5, then you want to connect that storage box to the one beside it, then that second storage box to the third storage box in the line, repeating that until you've linked to the furthest box. This makes it so incoming material goes all the way to the last box, filling up each box before considering itself actually full and stopping your production. Do the same with your aluminum extractors too. After that, you want to build a landing pad wherever it will fit within your outpost area without overlapping your material veins. Then you want to put a transfer container nearby your landing pad. Connect the storage box at the end of each chain to your transfer container, and that makes it so you can transfer right out of your storage into your ship's cargo hold, really allowing you to streamline the process quite effectively. Notice here that I simply open the menu, go to the ship section, then you can open the cargo hold, switch inventories twice, and you're on the inventory of the outpost itself, where you can transfer everything in the container to the ship quite easily. So now at this point, we have tons of valuable materials flowing in, we have a method of storage, and we have a way to go into our ship quite easily. From here, there are two paths that you can take to take advantage of this the best way. One of them is for pure experience, the other one is for mixed experience and credits. If you want both experience and credits, then from here you simply set up on your ship, sleep in a bed on the ship for 24 hours. Local time on this moon is 7.5 universal hours per local hour, and resources are generated based on universal time. So if you do a full 24-hour local time here, this gives a ton of time for your resources to happen. After doing that, transfer all of your goodies from your outpost onto your ship itself. If you run out of space on your ship, you can also just transfer from the cargo hold directly into your player inventory. While you will get encumbered by this, it doesn't have a limit. Because of the ability to move things into your player inventory, you can sleep as many times in a row as you want to prepare a massive crafting session and really build up those materials. Just you gotta make sure that you export them into your inventory between each sleep, or you'll be wasting stuff. You'll also notice when you wake up from sleeping in a bed, you get a well-rested message in the corner. This means you get 10% more experience from all sources, so that increases the effectiveness of this even further. From this point, go to the industrial workbench that we added onto your ship earlier and set up at the top of the menu on adaptive frame. This item costs 1 iron and 1 aluminum to make each, and it gives you 1 experience for each craft. We are going to press the confirm button that we want to craft, set your cursor up so it's right over the spot that you have to click to change it to 99 at once, then you're going to just spam the confirm button and click on the number, which on mouse and keyboard is E to confirm, click to change number. It's 2 presses of E for every click, but once you get the rhythm down, you can do it insanely fast, generating thousands of these items and thus thousands of experience in seconds as a result. The true beauty of these farms as well is that they are essentially infinitely scalable. As far as actually creating the items, the actual experience per minute is only blocked by your own speed of input, and the best part of it all is that the main thing that you need to expand this farm to make it more efficient and let you spend more time crafting and less time waiting is simply storage containers. The crafting cost of storage containers is, well, iron, aluminum, and adaptive frames, the exact group of these 3 things that this farm creates, so you can easily create a feedback loop within this, expanding the size of this outpost exponentially as much as you'd like it to be. That said, this is the credit farming version of this, and that is the reason why we got the extra ship component added that we did. Once you were done crafting, if you did it in the outpost, you'd have to walk back to the ship and you'd be encumbered and unable to fast travel, but because we are already on the ship here, you can travel wherever you want already immediately. The only limiting factor for speed of credits here is actually vendors themselves. My personal favorite one to go to when you're encumbered, of course, is back in New Atlantis, specifically in the commercial district. From here, when you spawn in, simply use your boost pack to avoid consuming oxygen, and then head towards the UC building on the right. Once inside, you have a really beautifully convenient setup. Talk to the vendor that's behind the counter. They will sadly only have 5,000 credits at a time, but sell them 5,000 credits worth of adaptive frames. These frames sell for 3 credits a piece, so this really doesn't take many. After that, turn around and sit on the chair that's 5 feet away, allowing you to do this without having encumbered problems. Wait for 24 hours on the chair, stand up, and the vendor will have their inventory refreshed, so repeat this process as many times as you want to collect more money, allowing you to mix this up to be incredibly efficient XP farm with really good credit income on top of it. That said, this method is of course a bit less efficient as far as experience goes. If you do want pure experience, then you don't care about the adaptive frames at all. You don't care about carrying them, so it becomes quite a bit simpler. In your outpost itself, beside the transfer container that you made, you want to set up an industrial workbench, and importantly beside that you want to make a sleeping bag from the fiber I mentioned in the beginning. Using a sleeping bag instead of a chair not only skips half of the animation from sitting down, which speeds up the loop significantly, but it also gives you that 10% well-rested bonus XP. If you've placed your objects close enough, you can stand up from sleeping, turn around and loot everything out of the transfer container into your inventory without moving, and repeat that until you have the amount of stuff that you actually want to craft. Then you can immediately turn to your workbench again without even needing to move, and start mass crafting adaptive frames. When you're ready to leave and walk away, simply just drop them all on the floor to deal with your weight problem. This specific setup with this exact positioning provisioning of the sleep spot, the craft spot, and the transfer container makes this just so much more efficient than the last version of this that I showed you all, and the swap to iron and aluminum as our farm makes the scaling of the operation happen exponentially quicker, so you can actually grow it a lot faster. Again, the idea of these outposts is their scaling potential is actually essentially infinite, but the faster you can scale, the more valuable it is regardless. I would honestly label this one as about 70 to 80,000 experience per minute once you get it properly up and running and just enter a non-stop crafting loop, which is absolute insanity. A level at around level 100 is like 10,000 experience, so that type of speed is more than you should ever need to reach within this game. But hey, we did it because we can, and now you can too, and the setup for it all really isn't all that difficult to arrange by any means. Not to mention that we also have the ability to turn it into a credit farm too, within which every one of those experience points is an adaptive frame, and every adaptive frame is 3 credits. So you're making 3 times as many credits as you are experience, all in one place, all at the same time. And that just about does it then, everyone. An updated and upgraded version of our previous Outpost experience farm, now streamlined significantly, added in some game mechanics I wasn't aware of before, and just smushed all the stuff really close together so the actual use of it can be as efficient as possible. It's better in every way than the previous one, and it will give you a genuinely unnecessary amount of experience per time spent. How much you get out of this, though, is entirely up to you, but it's also worth noting no matter what you are doing in this game, if it is involving making outposts at all, you will want an aluminum and iron farm. They're incredibly useful materials, they are super important, so having that outpost also be your experience and money farm is just way too good to pass up on, in my opinion. I hope you've all enjoyed this then, and I hope you get the most out of it as far as using it to get to the level you actually want to be when you continue to play. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.